So let me preface this by saying that I don't think a lot of men or women truly get to know themselves. That's why there's a high likelihood that most relationships are doomed to fail, because if you don't know yourself, how could you know someone else? Now, I'm going to be speaking from my own experience because I've done the motherfucking work and I've went through my season of isolation. What I've discovered in finding out who I am is that committed relationships just are not at the top of my list. And how I've came to this conclusion is taking a look at my past and being an observer of other people's relationships as well. When you have to take on most, if not all, of the emotional and mental labor of a relationship, it will leave you drained. You don't want to have to always be the one coming up with solutions and strategies, being the therapist, the mother, the wife, the caretaker, and everything in between. What I've experienced is men trying to so-called love or discover themselves through me. And they wonder why they wind up at a dead end every time, because you're not going to discover who you are hopping from portal to portal. Like, I never understood the phrase, I want to find my better half, when I'm standing here a whole ass person. Sure, can some people aid in maybe you unpacking different parts of yourself? Absolutely. But that would take a different level of enlightenment, and I don't even think a lot of people connect on a spiritual level, if we're going to be honest. Most relationships are superficial and transactional. And I'm not even saying that as if it's a bad thing, because if both people are benefiting, I don't really see the issue. However, it's so hard to get to know you when you're constantly entertaining somebody else. That's why I took over a year to sit my ass down and really ask myself, what the fuck am I afraid of? What am I running away from? What haven't I dealt with yet? Who do I want to be? And will I be proud of myself when I uncover all of this shit? And the answer for me was no. I wasn't proud initially. I had a lot of shame. I had a lot of trauma that I had built up. And I realized that this wasn't some fly by night thing. It would take me several seasons to get over all of this shit. Much like grief, self-development comes in waves. You're gonna be okay for a couple of months making strides, then the next thing you know, you're crying every single fucking week because something from your past triggered you. But I started practicing mindfulness and regulating my own nervous system, and shit really did get better. See, I wouldn't know how to do that in the presence of anybody else because it probably would have felt embarrassing. But I didn't have anything to be embarrassed of because I was in my own company. You spend 365 days plus to yourself, going on dates, texting, calling nobody. Trust me, you're going to discover a lot of things. I think if I was to entertain a committed relationship, there would be no better time than right now. Now that I'm not blinded by vanity and I can see both the positive and negative traits and the contenders that, want to pursue me, there's definitely an illusion of it being appealing to have someone to myself. However, if you really take a look at this shit, the world is full of fine ass fakers. And I'm not trying to be folded and fucked up into somebody's twisted reality. Meet me when you made it.